Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. My name is Alex Ago. I'm the Director of Programming and Special Projects at the USC School of Cinematic Arts. Tonight, we're starting the third edition of our annual Nollywood and Hollywood Showcase, which is a joint venture between the USC School of Cinematic Arts, O2A Media, and the American Cinematheque. Typically, Nollywood and Hollywood would have kicked off at the American Cinematheque's Egyptian Theater in Hollywood with a party and a live screening and some food, some music, a red carpet. And unfortunately tonight, you're gonna get the inside of my apartment. But we do have a stacked lineup of fantastic actors, writers, directors, producers, and other special guests joining us throughout the 3 days of the festival. Before I introduce some of our guests tonight, I just wanted to mention that tomorrow at 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, we're going to screen The Ghost and the House of Truth, which will be followed by a Q&A with director Akin Omotoso, producer Ego Boyo, and actors Kate Henshaw and Fabian Adeoye Loyede. I hope I got that right. Ose, you can correct me on those pronunciations. Sunday, we have a third screening. It's Merry Men 2, Another Mission, which will be followed by a Q&A with director Moses Inwang, producer Darlington Abuda, and actor executive producer Ayo Makun and actress Ufuoma McDermott. So there's a lot of fun in store. Tonight's screening of Living in Bondage, Breaking Free will be followed by a Q&A with director-actor Ramsey Nouah, producer Steve Gukas, and actor Jidekene Achufusi, moderated by Hilliard Guess, the co-chair of the Writers Guild Committee of Black Writers. So I'd like to now turn it over to Ose Oyamendan, the producer of the festival and head of O2A Media, to introduce our other guests. Take it away, Ose.
Hi guys, good evening and thank you so much for joining us again. Like Alex just said, it's a bit sad that we cannot be at the Egyptian tonight, but this also gives everybody around the world an opportunity and around the country an opportunity to join us. So for those just joining us for the first time, thank you so much. And this is going to be a blast. Right off bat, I would like to thank some people because it takes a lot of people to put this together. Alex at USC, without him, we won't be here tonight because he pushed this a lot. Gwen de Glaze at the Egyptian, who may join us a little bit later. And we have some partners I would like to thank also. I would like to thank our new partners, they just came on. PASA, the Pan-African Student Association at the University of Southern California. Remco and Tola and the crew at KLM Air France West Africa for always supporting us. NAPAC USA California branch. And the Pan-African Film Festival. I would like to thank people in our little organizing team here that helps Alex, Gwen, and I put this together. Maceo Willis, Ehi of Jollof and Chill, Unoma Noyen, Ituan Oyameda, Michelle Asabo, and yeah, and I also want to thank Wole Likwede, Elianya Ndukwe. I have to wear my glasses, I can't see. Nana Andor, it's been great bringing pasta to us. Ejiro Intekune, Lanre Ideu, and Damola Adewale. And I would love to give a special shout out to my brother Hilliard Guest for joining us tonight to moderate the Q&A after this. And want to thank the acting Consul General of the Nigerian Embassy, the consulate in Atlanta, for joining us tonight. It's really late on the East Coast. And yesterday was Nigerian Independence Day. So it's out like a full week, but he's joining us and he's still looking fresh. Ambassador Innocent Iwejo. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So,
This screen is yours now, sir.
excuse me?
You can just give us a goodwill message. It's yours now.
Oh, thank you so much, House. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be invited on behalf of the Consul General, Her Excellency Aishat Musa, to this third edition. I bring you warm greetings, felicitation from the Honorable Consul General of Nigeria in Atlanta. As you are aware, the Nigerian Consul at Atlanta has been a regular participant at this historic event. This accounts for because we are always promoting Nigerian culture and related heritages in the United States. And this actually accounts for the consulate's active participation at the Nollywood and Hollywood events since its inception a couple of years ago. And on behalf of the Consul General and the entire staff of the Nigerian Consulate at Atlanta here, I congratulate my brother, Mr. Ose Oyemedan and his team for defying the challenges posed by the devastating global pandemic to make this event a reality. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian film and of course, music industry has consistently gained prominence, not only within the African continent, but also all over the world. This is not connected to the fact that it has its uniqueness and originality, professionalism, and competence, especially the beautiful entertainment it provides to those who appreciate it. It also provides a kind of acceptability in the diverse cultures. Give it, whether it is cultural differences, ethnic differences, class, of course, age. There's no barrier in accepting Nigerian film and music industry all over the world. And it is on this basis that in addition to its entertainment, the entertainment it provides, the Nigerian music and film industry has been considered as one of the foremost foreign exchange earners to the country, in addition to creating employment opportunities. It is indeed on this basis that the government of Nigeria and the people has always consistently promoted and places high premium on the music and the film industry in Nigeria. So it is really very important for us that our brother has really taken it upon himself to promote it also in the United States. Of course, the organizers of this event has carefully selected among the films slated for screening during this third edition to include The Living in Bondage, Breaking Free, which is also known as Living in Bondage 2, a 2019 Nigerian supernatural thriller film, which classic debut, of course, released in 1992, set the stage for what is today known as modern film development in Nigeria. I thank the founder, Mr. Ose Oyemedan, Nigerian born seasoned Hollywood filmmaker, of course, a professional, and for his sense of patriotism and the initiative at creating this event as a forum to promote Nigerian movies, talent hunt and of film promotion and of the industry, and bringing it in the Hollywood to make Nigerian film industry, film promotion, and the movie industry known in the hub of the global film industry. I mean, your effort in bringing Nollywood to the center of a global entertainment industry, the Hollywood, is highly appreciated. The consulate is proud of your excellent achievement and congratulates you for remaining a great ambassador. I also thank the co-partners of the event, especially the School of Cinematic Arts, the University of Southern California, Los Angeles, and then the American Cinematic operators of the historic Egyptian theater. Of course, the pandemic and other things have made it impossible for us to be there to have a feel of this combining the film industry in Nigeria with the entertainment industry and of course the food industry. But anyway, thank God for the availability of Zoom. We can see our faces today, and I think we have been able to also do justice to this event. And then finally, I also welcome you as I welcome all of you to the third edition of this annual event. I thank all our distinguished guests, lovers and promoters of Nigerian film industry, and our development partners for participating. I urge you to please stay back, relax, and enjoy the 3 days event carefully packaged for your relaxation. Congratulations again, and I wish you successful outing this year. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for that. That was just amazing. Now I'm going to introduce the lovely people from PASA USC, Aqua, Richards, and the ladies. Please take it away.
Hi, I'm Izzy Amaka.
Hello, I'm Somkine Okwego. Hi, I'm Aqua Richards.
Hi, my name is Anama Endo, and we are the Pan-African Student Association at the University of Southern California.
We are so glad to be partnering with Nollywood and Hollywood and the USC School of Cinematic Arts to bring you Nollywood's top films to Los Angeles.
We are so excited for this event, and we cannot wait for what's in store for this week. Thank you again for having us, and we all hope you enjoy the movies this weekend.
Wow, that was great. Thank you so much, guys. And please let people know, log on if you've not logged on, register if you're not registered, and hopefully you will get it in time. And also, please follow us at Nollywood in Hollywood LA on Instagram. Nollywood in Hollywood LA on Instagram. I was told to say that, so I've said it. So back to Alex, and thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. We hope to see you more and more this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining us and for saying so many kind words. I just want to briefly explain that when we open the—
It's 4 hours.
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to mute that other mic. So when we open up the Q&A for the audience, we do like to bring people over from the audience side over to the panelist side so that you're welcome to ask your questions live and turn on your videos so that we can see you, so that we can hear you. I do recognize that not everyone is comfortable with that. So if you'd like, just turn on your mic and you don't have to use your video. Though one of the great pleasures of running this festival was to see people in person, and this is as close as we're going to get tonight. So I hope that you'll take that opportunity for all of us to see you when you ask your questions. Now we're going to run the entire film here through Zoom. It runs just under 2.5 hours. So please enjoy the film, and then please stick around for a great panel discussion to follow. And I hope to see you again tomorrow and on Sunday. Thank you all so much, and I really hope that you enjoy the film.
Hey Ramsey, how you doing, man? Awesome.
Hi.
Can you hear me pretty
Hi.
good?
Very well, absolutely.
All right, no problem. Dude, awesome film. It was a lot of fun. I really love how you guys are able to incorporate a lot of different themes in a movie, as well as a lot of different tones in a movie that you can't usually get away with here in America. You know what I mean? But it still works pretty seamless the way that you did it. And also, I want to give you some big kudos on the direction. Some really great camera angles, you know, really elevated. You know, I really thought you had a great eye, you know, for a lot of things you did there. So just want to throw that out first, just to let you know what you're dealing with right here. And say congrats
Thank
again
you,
on the film, dude. Awesome. So let me ask you this for people who are just listening. What is the difference between Nollywood and Hollywood? You know, what do you guys do differently there that we do here?
I think it's a storytelling. I think it's a culture difference and a storytelling, basically. We have a way of telling our stories. I mean, film culture has been there from like the late 70s, like predominantly from, you know, early 70s, like late 70s. We had a very strong film culture, which was driven by language, basically, at the time, and most predominantly in the western part of Nigeria. And for a while, it shut down. You know, it shut down for a while. It just went. Sorry about that. Welcome to Nigeria.
Speaking of shut down, right?
It's like a blackout. It's just going to be for a few.
Okay, no
Sorry
problem.
about that.
I can hear you fine though. So.
Okay, so that's the thing about it. Basically, it's been there. It's been there for a while. But then we've been telling our stories our own way, you know, and shooting our films our own way. And we, of course, learned a lot, you know, from Hollywood, you know, and their filmmaking and all of that.
Right.
And we try to apply that. So in the new generation, it was predominant that we knew that filmmaking, the style of filmmaking had to be applied properly into, you know, making films, especially the details of making films, the details of captivating the actors, absolute performances and the characters that they deliver. That's been our propulsion.
Okay. Yeah, and I see that. I mean, because I've watched quite a few Nollywood films over the years, and I love how things are really going to Netflix now, and we can really enjoy that now.
Yeah,
you know what
true.
I mean? Yeah, because there's a lot of projects that, you know, a lot of us haven't seen over here, and so I love that the world is opening up, you know, for and giving Netflix an example of a place that, you know, is starting to expand, you know, your world, you know, which is such a global influence on the world. And, you know, there's $1 billion industry that people have no fucking idea about, excuse my phrase. You know what I mean? And I think it's super, super duper amazing. Oh, there's your pretty face. I see you now.
Sorry about that.
You must be a director or something. I don't know what it is.
I've been in the industry long enough to learn the tricks of these things. I think that's what has helped me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like 2020 will be like 30 years in Nollywood, basically.
Wow.
You call it that. So I'm sure there's no way you've been in an industry that long you wouldn't bag up some experience.
I have been since I was 12, and I'm 50. So yeah.
Wow. So you can imagine. There's no way you'll be able to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not something like that came to me like, you know, just overnight or stuff. I've always had a flair for it though. I've always had a flair for like proper cinematography. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Forgive me. I'm in a hotel where I'm doing editing and co-producing for someone else. God,
understood.
Give me a second, please.
No problem.
I need to unhinge this. Yeah. Better. Okay.
It's okay, Ramsey. We only have like 100 people listening, you know, watching you. You know.
Okay.
I'm giving you a hard time.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So let's just go back a little bit, since I only have you on right now. For the people who aren't familiar with you, they don't realize you're pretty much Denzel Washington over there, you know, in Nigeria. So tell us a little bit about your, you know, how you got into the game and how you got to this point, you know, so far.
All right. I started acting. in Nollywood since 1990.
Right.
I debuted in one of the soap operas on national television in 1990. We actually shot the pilot episode in 1991. It came out in 1993 and just lasted for just a year. And the advent of Nollywood started about that time, about that period where, you know, we were making indigenous movies.
Right.
And then it moved and gravitated into English movies, and it took over. You know, a lot of people appreciated our storytelling, our story, you know, because it resonated well to them. They can relate with it based on the, you know, on the life and talking about stories that matters, you know, family-oriented stories that actually connect with people very directly, you know. And I think that gave it the presence of what it is today, or what you know of Nollywood today. That was what started it. And I came in as an actor back then, and I was.
Do you have any theater training? Do you do any theater? That's amazing to me. The reason I asked that is I come from theater, and and all that, but you feel like a theater actor to me. You're so centered you breathe into your acting, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah.
A lot of actors don't know how to do that, but something about theater that I've seen allows you to be a little bit more relaxed and centered. And as soon as you're on the screen, it's hard to upstage you. It's really, really hard, and it's because you breathe in every little moment. You know what I mean? So I was just curious about that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I didn't. I don't know if I should call it unfortunate or
maybe the soap opera helps because that repetition.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if you know Nollywood very strongly, you can tell that we churned out a lot of movies back then.
That's right.
Like it's hard for me to even have a recount right now of how many films that I've done in Nollywood. It's that bad, and over the years, you just keep learning, and for one, I always wondered. I always said to myself, like, how can we make it better? How can we try and see how to upgrade or make better our storytelling? Because what we had was predominantly actors who were just good on basic flat composition. Nothing strong. So all you watch is not beautiful screen, or set designs or lighting or composition, camera angles. None of those. You were basically just watching the actors just reel out their emotions as regards the characters they are playing or the scene as it should be. That was it. And to me, that was pretty flat.
Yeah, and it looks flat too, for sure.
Yeah, it does.
Yes,
So, but then for some reason, it was what started Nollywood, and people loved it. And then it went far and went to virtually all the Africans in diaspora because, like I said from the beginning, they could connect with the story. And that was
one of the things that I was thinking about when I was watching this movie tonight that I was really enjoying is like even the moments where Namdi he falls in love with the girl, and you get to see Black love. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that I mean, we have it here in America, but you have to like search for it. It's just so far and few. And that's one thing that reminded me about this type of movie is you could have it so much over there. And I found myself getting excited about moments like that, that just to see the Black love moments and just, the shanty town poor to the most wealthiest of wealthy and the fancy cars and the homes and the living like Diddy, you know what I mean? And we don't always get to see that in a lot of our movies as much. And that's what I appreciated. And those are some things that I gathered, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know for certain, like over there, you definitely don't have much of the shant, the ghetto side as much. Your ghetto is kind of different from ours.
Oh yeah.
So definitely, sure. if we shoot it properly, it'll probably be an eye candy like what you like to see. You like to see the crossovers. Of okay, what does our environment look like? And you want to tell the story from there. And say, oh, really? That's the way the shack looks like. That's the way the ghetto looks like. Oh wow, and that's the highbrow. Amazing, because we have it everywhere in the world. There's no place you can find ghettos and these things happen. So, but it depends on how you film them. And we needed to connect that one to the world. So for a long time running, you could say that Nollywood was just within the circle of Nollywood watchers, basically. That's what happened. So some filmmakers, directors, producers, and this a few years back now decided that okay, it's about time we start making movies that they can become universal, not just within our shores, not just within our people who appreciate what storytelling was like. We need to go universal. We need to let people see and appreciate, and so we went all out. And it wasn't easy, as a matter of fact, because I remember very strongly. I had this, you could tell that this is my first directorial debut, on big
This
screen.
is your first movie?
And yes.
Wow.
The director.
Dude,
I'm
going to tell you, I'm a director too. This is like your fifth movie. This is good. This is a good start for you, for sure.
Thank you so much. And so before getting that, I went to do the original of Living in Bondage. Living in Bondage is like the first, you could say like the first Nollywood indigenous film. It kicked off 1991, It came on air, I think 1992. And I think that's when we had it, and it was back then VHS copies,
Okay.
And when we decided, okay, my friend and I, my partner and the guy, the executive producer, decided that, okay, we wanted to do something like we should try doing remakes to Nollywood films so that we don't lose Nollywood completely.
Right.
Or we tell our old stories. Because at some point, when you look at most of the films, like I say, we're churning out films like every other day, like in Nollywood. So stories got saturated. And then at some point, it now depends on how you as a filmmaker now tell the story.
Okay.
But we decided that.
So it's hard to be original then.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we decided, okay, let's be the first to step into the shoes of starting up a remake or a sequel to Nollywood. And we decided that if we're going to do it, we have to do it well. We have to make sure that at a time, that film, which of course was a very strong, big movie at the time, Living in Bondage, like it was a pace setter of Nollywood at the time. If we had to redo it in the 20th century, how far can we go?
Right.
How good can we make it? And then we said, okay, we need to go all out. I mean, one thing you must understand, it's not easy shooting here in Nigeria because the market is not as strong. We don't have the cinema culture as much. We have very few cinemas. The turnout doesn't really help push and propel, investment in filmmaking. So it becomes really tough. So if you get an investor who comes in, there must be some form of whatever it is you sell to him to make him understand that there can be some good returns after this sale. And that was going on for a long time, and hence it was difficult to make very good movies from Nollywood for so long because, of course, it was capital constrained. It was financially constrained. So based on that, but this we went all out to a certain extent to get the best of this, and we put in myself and the executive producer made sure that okay, that we'll go all out. And thanks to my producer too, Steve Gukas. He, of course, Steve is like pretty vast. Steve has made movies, on the international scale. For a while. So coming back as a producer on this set, on this film was like a big thing, and he gave us like the opening line said, so, one of the drawback factors for most of our films is that we have not learned the art of sound scoring and, grading and cutting movies properly. And then he showed us the ropes and say, these are my guys that we can do. So we did most of that in London. And
which, by the way, let's keep your thought. I was going to ask you, did you spend any time over there in London? Sometimes I couldn't tell if it was the role, the character that you decided to play, but I almost heard it, and I almost heard a British accent sometimes when you were playing.
No. I didn't. I've not.
Maybe it's because you're using proper. Maybe you're speaking proper, so it sounds that way. I'm not sure.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
It was very important for me as an actor to make sure that clarity was very important as an actor. Talking about, you're not talking to just the Nigerian audience, you're talking to the African audience, which they have different language and all of that. So understanding needs to have clarity. Understanding of what you're saying needs to have clarity. Otherwise, you just be like, look, so what is he saying? Or how, and that's very important, So I needed to cut across. Hence, I tutored myself into having clarity in my speaking. And I think that a lot of people see that as a British accent more like than than yes. But no, I've never lived in London really. I've been there a few times, but I think the longest I've ever stayed in London would be probably a month. You know, in my going and coming. That's it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I was curious about that because I know that Steve spent some time there. I guess he went to school there and did some other things. So I wasn't sure if you might have had something there too. But anyway, I wasn't sure if that was a choice or if that was a clarity thing. But I was noticing it every time. There were certain vowels you would hit that would just, but it worked fine. It was beautiful. But I thought it was just very elegant, you know, the way that you did it. So I was like, oh, well, that's a choice.
I know the British always looked like that. They always see them as being the guys with the airs. It's very British.
Let's talk about. So does he go by Swank or not?
Did he what?
Does he go by Swank? Jidakeen, how you say his name? The kid?
Who?
The actor.
Which of the actors? Swanky?
Yeah. Does he go by Swanky?
Yeah, that's his name, Swanky.
Okay, because his real name is I can't pronounce it.
Oh, Jidakena.
Yeah. It's Yafushi or something. Yes. Where did you find him? I know he's been over there doing other movies before. Did you know that that's the actor you wanted from the get-go, or how did he come to that?
No. We had an audition in Lagos, the west of Nigeria. We had in the eastern part of Nigeria, two places in the eastern part of Nigeria, which is Enugu and Owerri, and then Lagos. So three places in Nigeria, and we were searching strongly for the character. There was some trying to strike the balance of not an exactly completely ghetto character. So it's somebody who's probably gone to school a bit, he has a bit of of fine tuning, parental fine tuning. So he's not like totally, just on the street. So we needed that. We needed somebody who also at the same time didn't seem like, okay, even though he's been fine tuned a bit by parents, it doesn't seem like, okay, they have the best of life or best of breakfast, like they have good breakfast in the morning, no. So it's still the hustler. So he needed to look the part. He needed to have a bit of chiseled face and, chiseled body, that, you could say that, okay, he doesn't look also richly blessed in material things or good things. Yeah. At the same time, doesn't look absolute ghetto, So that's the strike of balance we're looking for. And it was pretty hard. And also, don't forget, it's an indigenous movie, with the language, and we needed somebody also who knew the mannerisms of the eastern part of it, because it's an eastern movie, eastern part of Nigeria, the Igbos, who can fluently speak the language and who can understand the mannerisms and the gestures and everything that comes with, the tribe.
Right.
And putting that together wasn't easy. I mean, it wasn't that you couldn't find characters like that in the West. You could, but they're not easy to come by.
Right.
And so we had to do audition in Lagos, Enugu, and Owerri. And I found him in Enugu. And when I did, I was like, okay, I mean, it feels like a diamond in the dirt somewhere there. So let's see how we can make the best of him.
Yeah, he's got. I hate to use the word. We have a thing here in LA where some executives are, oh, he's not likable or she's not likable, and we hate it. He's likable, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
He has that thing, and like I'm known for writing underdog stories, right?
Oh wow.
And one of the things I love about this guy is you made him this ultimate underdog. Down on his luck. Nothing's working, lives in the shanty town, one thing after the other, but he's determined, you know what I mean? He's focused on that thing, that it's clear throughout the entire story what he wants. You don't have to ask him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know exactly what he wants.
Very true.
And I think that I think you needed somebody strong enough to play against you.
Yes.
And I mean that in the nicest way, because I think you're so strong. He's just as strong in his own way. You know.
Yes.
I think that was a smart move, because he was a vulnerable actor. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
I think that was really important. So I think you guys made the right choice with him, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Well, it wasn't. It was also very, very good working with him. And in all honesty, the character I played, Richard Williams, was like it was secondary. I wasn't meant to play the character because I was directing.
Right.
And I didn't want to get involved. Like, I was just trying to like focus on directing. And like I said, it's my first directorial debut, so I was trying hard not to lose focus on my creativity. It was a bit tough. It was a bit tough. And most times when I am playing my part, I let Steve. Steve now comes in and directs most of those things
that's smart.
I'm involved in. And
so he's your third eye.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not producing when he's not somewhere. So we try to put that together, and it wasn't easy. So most times I need to always psych myself into get into my character, you know, finding that the character of Richard Williams, I'm playing it out. I know so many people say, a lot of my people will say, oh, it looks so much like a devil's advocate. It's a devil's advocate kind of like character right there. And I smile, I'm like, yes, but that wasn't what came to our head when we created the character. We just wanted we wanted something that would go very strongly with the original story. You know, so you're making a sequel to that. There must be something. You know, there must be something, and it's like evil and good. You know, and that's where I am with it. That's how far we got.
That's fascinating to me. I love. Anyway, I really love this guy. I mean, I actually think the whole cast was really pretty strong. The way how long did it take to shoot this, by the way? How long?
It took us like a month.
Okay.
For production. Post-production took us about 2 months.
Okay.
About.
The reason
preparation. Before, you know, like pre-production, and when we tried working on the script, it was kind of a tough one.
Right.
I remember my partner Charles, when he decided that we should embark on this great work. It was difficult to get the rights, you know, the producing rights of the film. So we went looking and hunting for this man who owns this film originally, and he wasn't anywhere around our cities where we worked. So he was all the way somewhere in the east somewhere.
Right.
And then it took us a while to get into him, but you know, we spoke to him and let him understood where we're going and how we did it, and he was quite happy and glad. And so he gave us the right, and then we embarked. But when we embarked, at this point in time, Steve wasn't on the table. He was on the table. So we had a writer who wrote it. That's the original writer, Nicole. And when I looked at it, I had a problem with it. I said, the story we have here, it can't work, and it wouldn't work, because it's just almost like a remake rather than a sequel.
Okay.
You know? And it feels like, all because we're trying to connect with the demography of people who go to the cinema now, who did not go to the cinema back then, or who are too young to go to the cinema back then, because you're trying to connect with that demography. You lose the originality of the story. And so we had a bit of, you know, fallout that, you know, this would be tough to pull through. And that went on for like a year or two.
Oh, wow. Long process.
So, before Steve now came on board, and then he fine-tuned things and make things, you know, where we can actually see, you know, the feasibility in making it work. And then after I came in, I think it took us like, in total, like a year, you know, preparing, filming, and coming out with the final job, the final work.
Because I was thinking about it. I mean, my living that I do, I fix scripts and I produce things. Right, that's like what I do.
Yeah, yeah.
But one of the things that they kept hitting me was how difficult it must have been. You got some noise in the background or something?
Yeah, it's my noise. Forgive me. I'll be right back.
Okay.
But go on. I'm listening.
All right. But is one of the things that I always think about is like how difficult it is to, it seems like almost, I mean, you guys definitely have a lot of set pieces, meaning locations that are you go back to, right? But there's also, it seems like a lot of locations, a lot, right? So that takes up a lot of time. And so I'm always thinking like, I wonder what it's like to shoot in Nigeria, you know, on the streets there. Do you guys have more access? Are they more generous with you guys there, you know, with the country to shoot on the streets? Is it like although, because you guys have some beautiful locations, are they more like, sure, go ahead and shoot, or you got to have the permits, you got to pay people off? You're like, is it more difficult? You know?
Yes, you have to have the permits, you have to pay people off, you know. It's kind of like pretty tough to film, especially in the streets of Lagos, you know, because it's like the most congested city in Nigeria, and it makes it tough. And it's like what we call Lagos, like is a no man's land, you know, anything goes. So you have to be to now have for you to have a well arranged set, which is like you want to shoot on the street, is going to be really, really tough. Extremely tough. You're going to have to shut down certain streets to actually get certain things properly done.
Right.
Or you film in a way where you don't want to have controlled environment. You're not seeing things. You probably want to shoot without having controlled environment. That's the only way you could probably get away with it. Otherwise, you could ask for the permit. You could call for a controlled environment, which of course is going to be capital intensive for you to put all of that together. And that's the tough part of filmmaking in Lagos. We shot, our locations were Lagos in South Africa.
Okay.
So yeah, we had a bit of the initiating scene, all of that was done in South Africa. You could tell when they moved, when he flew them to South Africa, it made it seem like it was just fun. They were going for fun, but it was more for the initiation. So that we went to South Africa too. As a matter of fact, in Durban in South Africa.
Okay.
And yeah, we had to get the permits, and we didn't do too much of any street or open air filming. Yeah, there were more, you know, controlled environment, interior, more like we shot in South Africa. Likewise in Lagos, but you choose your locations to fit into your storytelling, basically, when you're writing. So if you know you're going to be filming in Lagos, when you write, you actually write to fit it in.
Right.
So you look at places that wouldn't cost you so much to film, where you can have a bit of controlled environment, you know, and then you could still have the aesthetics.
Okay.
Basically, that's the way we work. We try to put it together to get the best of it and to cut down on budget.
Okay. Well, you had a great team. It looked like Steve, you know, really helped you guys, you know, bring it all together and, you know, make it, you'd like to use the word easy when it comes to movies, but easier for you to focus on what you needed to do and know that he's got, you know, he can manage the team, you know, over there. So, you know, shout out to him for that, for sure. But let's open this up to some audience questions we have out there, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You over there, Alex? You gonna take that?
I'm out here. I'm still here. So I'm gonna basically call on some people, and then one by one, I'm gonna move them over to be panelists for the time being, and hopefully they'll turn on their video. And if they're not comfortable with that, they can just use their mics. So to kick things off, let me invite over Nkechi. And then I will post like a list of people that I'm going to call on in order so that people can kind of get ready. So let me go ahead and do that now.
All right.
All right. You're on our side now. Feel free to yeah, there we go.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Hi, Hilliard. Hi, Ramsey. Huge fan. Living in a fantastic movie. And like speaking personally for myself, Dangerous Twins was like the reason I decided to become a filmmaker and the reason why I'm here today.
Wow.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Sorry?
So that's good to know. That's very good to know.
Thank you. Thank you. I've always been a huge fan. I have two questions that are not entirely related. So that's okay. I'm going to ask the first one first. So the original Living in Bondage, which was back in 92, 93, was the movie credited with starting Nollywood, like the reason why we have the third largest industry in the world today. So I'm wondering, I'm very curious about the rights process. How did you get the rights to make this sequel? And not just this one, but like I know you're currently working on Rattlesnake, which is another Nollywood classic. So I'm wondering, what is the process for getting like the rights to these Nollywood classics that essentially defined not just an industry, but an entire country?
It's the same way you look for IPs, you know, people with the IPs, and you just go meet them and talk to them like, okay, this is what you plan to do. And it's now left for whatever negotiations between you both to make it, to facilitate it. That's what we did. That's how we went to meet the producer, you know, of Living in Bondage, and we got the rights to it. And likewise, Rattlesnake, and then other films that we're working on at the moment. It's almost looking like we're trying to become like the king of the remakes or something like that. Myself and Charles Opaliki, who owns Play Network. But you know, but that's not the case as it may be. It was more of the I think my executive producer, my partner Charles Opaliki, he's just floating on the success of Living in Bondage. He just felt like, I mean, this turned out really good. Why don't we just go and then get some more rights of old classics and then reactivate them or do sequels or remakes to them and bring them back? And we thought, okay, why not? You know, hence we're working on. So right now we're working on Rattlesnake, we're working on Nneka the Pretty Serpent, we're working on Glamour Girls, and also I don't know if you know, because you're an Igbo girl, of course, definitely. You still speak your language, don't you? I
do, actually.
Great. So, Osofia, you know Osofia in London?
Yes.
So this time we're trying to do Osofia in Miami.
Oh, I think I saw something about that. That would be very cool. Osofia is one of the most classic characters of like golden age Nollywood. So that would be fantastic.
I know. Yeah. So we have all of that. We have all of that to make. So we have projects lined out for 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Also, we're trying, because we keep getting a call back. We keep getting a call to have a part 2 of Living in Bondage, Breaking Free. So a lot of people are saying that we need to do a second part to that. You know, the Nigerians can be very sentimental when it comes to religion. So it's like, no, the bad guy has to die. He has to die. He just can't escape like that. People are calling back for that.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, so my second question is more general and less like specific to this movie. So I have some experience working in Nollywood. I have primarily for like Iroko movies and a few that went to cinema, but like since I started making the transition to the US, I've had some difficulties explaining like the differences between Nollywood and Hollywood. So I wondered if you could speak to that a bit more, specifically because you're one of the icons of Nollywood. You're a famous name, the entire continent of Africa. I imagine you would get mobbed in any airport in Africa. So I wondered if you could speak to that.
Oh well, Nkechi, it's I already told Hilliard about it. Like, I think it's the culture, and you see a lot of people. For instance, one of the reasons why you probably watch Hollywood films is because you want to see their culture, something you don't have the privy to. Likewise, other movies like maybe Bollywood films or Thai movies or Chinese films, you look at the culture, you appreciate it, you want to see what their how they coexist, you know, what their food is like, what their love life is like, what their family is like. And that's what we took out to the world too. It's like we want to talk about our culture, we want to talk about our, you know, our stories, how we, you know, address issues. For instance, Nigerians are very boisterous people by nature, so you see them very exuberant, like in everything that they do. They go out like, and they've got that energy. And you see, sometimes we have to find a way to showcase that in our filmmaking. And I think that's one of the factors that actually propels our storytelling to the world. So the difference is, of course, let's put aside the budget, you know, for Hollywood films compared to that. I mean, that's a huge difference. There's no need, we can't make any comparisons when it comes to that. It's the storytelling that I'm talking about, and the ability as a filmmaker to make your culture, telling your story, universal. So you don't want to like be all up in other people's culture's face and make it seem like kind of like tacky, and people don't, they can't resonate with it. You have to make it in a way where it cuts across however way you're telling the story. And that's the art of cinematography, filmmaking, that we need to like try and culture more strongly, you know. And that's what I try to apply into Living in Bondage, to make sure that I have that, you know, cut across all borders, where people can watch, they can identify, they can see the characters, they can see certain things, you know, not ever exaggerated, but, you know, well done.
Yes, it might be out of place to say this, but I think you completely achieved that. Because I think back on Living in Bondage, this is the fourth time I'm saying it, to be honest. But like,
okay.
I think of the first sequence in that series where you have the child saying the childhood. I remember that chant from when I was a child, and like that scene is just so meta. So I feel like you achieved that cultural specificity while achieving universal relativity. So thank you very much for that. That's all the questions.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm going to call on Angel Harper now. Hi, Angel. You're on our side of things, so feel free to unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm not muted now, am I?
Nope.
Okay, great. Oh, great. Hi, Hilliard.
Hey, Mama, how are you?
I'm one of his gym friends, even though we haven't been able to go to the gym in a while. But I just want to say how much I really enjoyed the movie, and I'm being introduced to a new genre of film from Nollywood, since I'm you know, not as acquainted as I am being enlightened tonight. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I didn't know it was a remake, so that was enlightening to me also. But I want to congratulate you, and just was curious about the casting, how you did the casting. That was my question, because casting does mean a lot. Did you have a casting director, or how did you go about it?
Angel, a quick one. It's not a remake, it's actually a sequel. And the casting is, we had auditions around, you know, some 3 states in Nigeria. The western part of Nigeria, Lagos. We had in the eastern part, Enugu and Owerri. And when we were scouting for this character, we weren't just scouting for the main character. I mean, which is Namdi Okeke. We needed to get his love interest likewise. And then we needed to find this girl who seems, when you look at her, she seems very angelic, like your name, for instance, you know. And there's got that natural beauty and tints to it, you know. I wanted a girl that is selfless, you know. And scouting for those wasn't easy. So we went around the 3 states to actually look for those. Then we also have some of the original actors of Living in Bondage from when it was shot in 1992. We had them, you know, we brought them over to this one, like his father was the original actor of Living in Bondage, which is his real name is Kenneth Okonkwo. That's his original. So it's just like saying the father was playing the son back then. Now the father has grown. He felt he's forgotten. No, he's left the evil cult, but the cult is still hunting him, and now he's going for his son, his child, a child he didn't realize that he had all the time he was growing up, and he just discovered that he has a son. So all of that is like, you know, a sequel to the original, and it wasn't easy. But I didn't have any casting director. I had to go
but that was
eyes.
wonderful. I think it's wonderful
Thank
that you
you.
were able to incorporate so many people from the original and just put them in different places because they're familiar with the film, and that I think that probably enriched the film so much.
True, indeed.
Thank you. Yeah, nice, really nice seeing you again.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to invite over Pinray. All right, Pinray, you're on. If you can unmute your video and your mic.
Yes, I did unmute myself, but I'm not sure how to work this video.
Oh, let me see if I can help you with that.
Thank you, Hilliard. Hilliard, did I say that right?
Hilliard.
Okay.
It's okay. I get it. You could say Hill. That's fine.
Okay. I guess. All right. I did get that. Hi, Ramsey. My name
Hi,
is
Pinray.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say that, you know, I mean, no one can take this away from you for being a very, very good hand at what you do. You're a veteran of the old school, and I've watched and seen you grow over the years, from the days of yore before I left Nigeria and before I came over here. I'm not so much into movies and what have you these days, but what I've seen in the past is so much to actually, you know, give a lot of kudos to you guys who have made our film industry into what it is today. I'm talking of the days of Abegi, the days of Pek Theater at Onikon with the Makinde, Gogo, Ombo Gogo, blessed memory, Biodun Alija,
wow,
Director Chuck Malik.
Yes.
You know.
I know. Those are names of the you call them the founding foundation member of Nollywood.
Absolutely. So, and you know, you're so much one of the very best hands that we have. So, I doff my hat to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, what is the future of Nollywood in Hollywood in terms of its transition and growth from what was a relatively regionally constrained industry to what has blossomed into this day of reckoning in terms of its international acclaim and recognition? Remember, then it was Cholet, Amitabh Bachchan, and what have you.
Yeah.
Then again, it was Bruce Lee and, you know, Jackie Chan, you know. So now it's Nollywood. It's the same thing, competing almost at par, if you like, with Hollywood.
Yeah.
But how do we continue to project this in terms of its acceptability and quality, given the limited resources that you guys have? We're talking about NEPA, transportation, good roads, resources, government support, legislation. What do you see as the future of Nollywood in Hollywood? First part of my question. Number two, do you see yourself, what's your next project in the United States? Do you have any plan of doing something here, you know, with people like Hilliard, you know, in Hollywood? Are you scouting for talents? Are you doing auditioning? Do you have a project in mind? And, you know.
Well, this is his first directorial movie.
And I'm so amazed.
I'm already thinking of other things.
I'm already thinking, Because of how much Ramsey has gone. It's a giant in the industry. It's a name that you cannot. It's like the Wale Soyinka of the movie industry. So I couldn't even imagine that this is his first shot at directing a movie. I can't believe it. This is, but again, it's all good.
Shout out to Steve Gukas over there too. I see you.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve. How you doing, Steve? Nice to have you on.
Unmute yourself, Steve.
I totally forgot about that. Hi guys, how are you?
How are you doing, Steve?
I can see you in your British home, Mr. Steve.
I barely made it up this morning.
Oh my God, yeah. Remember you and I had the same problem when we had it. We thought it was yesterday, and we were up all morning thinking, "Oh my God, what's going on here?" We missed the date. Yeah, it's so slick how you're running out of Nigeria, Mr. Steve. I just hear, "Oh, he's with me in Lagos, and then he's up in North, so he's filming the next." And it's like, you're calling him the next day, and he's in London. He's everywhere.
You have to move around, man. You have to move around.
Oh yeah. All right, Mr. Tunri. It's to say how you find Nollywood and Hollywood to be like it's a new terrain, like you've rightly analyzed. It's a day of reckoning for Nollywood, and don't get me wrong, it's not like Living in Bondage sets that pace. It's been there. Certain other filmmakers and some producers have tried, to try and put Nollywood like. Mr. Steve Gukas, he shot several movies back then, which of course are very strong movies. You can find them on Netflix too. A Place in the Stars and the Ebola crisis.
93 days, Ramsey.
93 days, yeah. The Ebola crisis, and that was a great film, and that was shot, sometime in mid 2000s. And so we've been trying to see how we can set the standard in cinematography, in filmmaking, and letting it actually resonate strongly, beyond the shores of Nigeria. Like I said, we're trying to make sure we make our films become universal in the sense that it's not just for the shores of Nigeria, but other people can watch it and they can identify with our storytelling or our kind of storytelling. And we try to pull that through with Living in Bondage, and we're very happy with the success of it. Coming up with a remake or a sequel, to an original, and yet we were a bit, unsettled, not very certain of what it's going to look like. We're testing the market, like, okay, what we do? Would it work out well? So we were a bit conflicted at some point. But we had direction, however, but slightly not certain of what the outcome will be. And then when we discovered the outcome was that good, we decided like, whoa, this is a good way to go. Finally, at least we're able to tell our stories like this. So it left a precedent for other filmmakers to follow.
Thank you so very much. That actually answers my question. Shout out to say Oyamendan, for what you do. Thank you for connecting NAPAC to this great thing.
Thank you. Thank you for having us too.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call on Diane next to come join us. Hi, Diane.
Good evening. Hi, how are you?
Good morning here.
Good morning. Congratulations, a wonderful film. I thought it was visually stunning. I was wondering if you'd talk about your process with your cinematographer and if you tell us who your cinematographer was.
John Demps. It was Steve made it happen. He was the one that arranged all of this thing as a producer of the movie. He brought in most of all the the key people that give us the best of it all. Like I said, we worked on the post-production in London, and he got John Dempsey, who's also a cinematographer from Hollywood. He came down and then he shot it for us. So that's his name, and that was how we were able to achieve very nice looking picture.
Well, I just want to say congratulations. It's a wonderful film. Visually
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move over Milena next. Hey, Melina, are you out there? Okay, just to preemptively get the next person over, I'll also move over Ukaira. Are you out there, Ukaira? Hey, there he is. Okay. So just unmute yourself and feel free to jump in.
Okay, cool. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, first of all, I'll quickly say that this is surreal. Never imagined I'll be talking to the Ramsey Nouah, and I mean that from a genuine place. So thank you for making time to speak with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was excited about Living in Bondage when we saw the trailer. My entire family watched it. It's crazy. I texted them and told them if they had any question to ask you, and they're awake in Nigeria. So, but they haven't gotten back to me. So my question is, I'll ask two questions. I'm going to be greedy here because I know the next time I'm going to talk to you. How busy your schedule is going to be over the next few years. But the first question is, what are some of the, and if possible, if you can be specific about it, but no pressure again, logistical challenges that you feel like one must be aware of as if you're aspiring to make films in Nigeria? Maybe you can use Living in Bondage as an example, because one of the things you mentioned is just like the technical excellence of the film, which is something I felt like you achieved with cinematography and sound and music. And then Kechi mentioned the score, like that look, the lullaby, or the nursery rhyme, like so some of these things are very important to making a film. So like, what are some of the logistical challenges? I'm talking like, if you want to break it down for me, like traffic, generator with NEPA, stuff like things like that, and how you navigate that, or, you know, how you go about, how do you work around that? Was it Steve, coming in with, was it money? Like what made it easy? What made it feasible? What made it less, stressful for you so you could focus on actually directing and then acting?
There is no fast way to circumvent that. I'm just going to say that for free. Yeah, there is no way. Like the downtime, power problems, transportation, traffic in Lagos, generator sound, airplanes. It's not a controlled environment. We don't have studios where we'll build sets, and where you can shut off the world and then create everything you want within that set. We don't have that. So basically we use already established homes. We go with set designers who recreate and put them in proper perspective for camera compositions and all of that. That is how we make it happen. So we're still there. Sometimes we have to go and be certain that in this environment, I go with my sound, I go with everybody to be sure that if they turn on the gen, can I deal or I can't deal, And if people turn on their gens around, and do I have, is the house located in where you have too much activities going on that might affect or impede the sound? So they're a very key factor that you have to look into. Those are most of our drawback factors. So, because if everything was probably on set, like we're just shooting in film in the controlled environment, like a studio, it wouldn't take that long or as much, to actually finish a good film.
Sounds like logistics is what it is.
Yeah. the logistics of filming in Lagos is quite, in all honesty, it's very overbearing. Cairo, trust me, it's the same Lagos you left it back then. It's still what it is till tomorrow. So it's yeah, it is. So, but the thing there is, we how the way it is, you know, how we Nigerians are. Fela said it back then, suffering and smiling. We'll still find a way around. Yeah, we'll still find a way around it, you know, or we have to find a way around it. That's how we get by.
Cool. My second question is,
I'm so sorry. We only have time for like one more question. So if your second question is brief, go for it.
It's brief.
Okay, yeah.
Will you make any more political films like, I think it was 42, it was the one where you were a military guy. Will you make more political films that could be controversial?
In Nigeria, as we speak, political things are quite sensitive at the moment. So when you go there, you want to go there treading softly, you know. So based on that, most filmmakers and producers have, you know, take it easy and not delving into it too strongly, so you don't, you know, step on wrong toes while at it. A friend of mine, he lives in London. He's a director likewise. He did something like that in Nigeria, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to bring it out. You know, so it's a sensitive thing to do at the moment. So hence, a lot of people are still stepping back. But I know in time, we'll get there. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Cairo. Thank you.
Okay, moving over to Chioma for the last audience question. I see that you're talking, but we're not hearing any. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Awesome. Pardon me, it's like 2 a.m. in the States. But I want to say thank you again for this. Like the previous person said, I never thought I'd be top Ramsey, you are my idol. So I never thought like this. Steve, Gukas, Ramsey, the whole production and the ones to come, I know it will be A+ work. I have just two quick questions. One being, I guess for you, Ramsey, your stance on where do you see yourself in the years to come in terms of still acting. Still, you did a lot in this movie. You acted, produced a bit, directed. In terms of, do you see yourself taking a mainly 100% directorial role? Do you see yourself even mentoring young talents and actors to come? And that plays along into my second question about the technical quality and everything. I saw nothing wrong with this movie whatsoever. And I want a lot more Nigerian movies.
Thank you.
In terms of your opinion on how you think in terms of the future, how big things such as Play Network, as Ramsey Films, these organizations and sustain level in the future for Nollywood, so that my kids and other people many, many years to come can enjoy what we have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chioma. If I get the questions correctly, you're trying to see what we have in store for the next generation of filmmakers or actors in Nigeria, right? Is that it, Chioma? Thank you. Well, I have mine, and I'm sure Steve has his too, likewise. We all have our plans into, like, if you notice, like we would go about looking for new talents and raw talents that deliver, and we look into the arts very strongly. Like Gukas is a man who would make sure that art, you see, the art part of filmmaking is very key. You know, that the actors need to come out and perform, greatly. And so we're looking at people who are hungry, and we have lots of them out there who are willing to deliver. Not surface acting, not red carpet, kind of like performances. So we go for the drill. We drill them and we get the best of them. And that's what we're doing. But here's what we're also doing. We're making sure that there's a perfect blend between the the original actors, the old actors, and the new ones, and even the ones in the middle, you know, that there is a seamless blend. There is no this dichotomy of, you know, this is the old actors, this is now the new actors, you know, where you now put that line between them. No, 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 no. In our film, you can tell that you can see that there's a seamless performance between all these actors and age and range, that they look like, okay, they all start at the same time. And that's what we've been doing. And that's what we've been trying to do. So in our projects that I'm working on right now, I just finished Rattlesnake, and they're all new talents, basically. They're mostly new talents. And they were really good. They were awesomely good, you know. As a matter of fact, Uncle Steve also was working on the project, but he just finished. I think he's working on. Steve, do you want to give us an insight to that?
Not at this point, no.
Letting the cat out of the bag, no ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see, that's for Chema. That's what we're trying to do. We try to make sure that we push for the right things, to put things in the right perspective. You know, and not just for us, these are not personal interests. These are more like the industry interests. That's what we're doing.
I'm honored again just to be all of you guys' present. So thank you again, Ramsey, Steve. Thank you, Hilliard, and thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Chema.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm so sorry. There are plenty of questions, but it is really late. This is normally the time when Ose would be dragged to the club if you were the Egyptian. But right now I feel like I'm about to stick my head directly into an air conditioner. So thank you guys so much. Steve, I can't wait to see you in person at some point again. But thank you for coming in. Ramsey, this has been amazing. Hilliard, thank you so much for leading such a great conversation.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Hey, what quick question?
You.
Ramsey and Steve, are you guys on social media? Can people follow you? You know, or anything?
Oh,
yeah.
But of course, it's the way to go these days.
Tell everybody where are you?
It's Ramsey Nouah on IG, I think. The likewise on my Twitter handle.
Okay, cool.
I'm not very internet savvy though. So I need to warn.
It's Steve Gukas on all platforms. That's Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
All right. Cool. And I'm Hilliard Guest. You can find me on everything also. So thank you guys. You guys rock. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hilliard. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, Alex. See you soon.
Absolutely. You're obviously all welcome to campus once we're back. So I hope to see you guys for the 4th, 6th, 7th edition of Nollywood and Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Ose. Appreciate you guys.
Take care, everybody.
Cheers.
All right.
You too. Bye. Bye.